Welcome everyone to today's explainer. If you're a focused learner who's just looking to completely transform the way you retain information, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Okay, let's dive into this. Today we're taking a truly fascinating journey from the absolute depths of academic burnout straight through to strategic mastery. We're going to look at the real science of learning, directly breaking down the exact insights that separate the folks who endlessly struggle from the ones who just seem to learn effortlessly.
So, Section 1, the late-night study trap. Are we working hard just to fail?
To really understand the solution here, we first need to confront the problem head-on. And I want you to literally picture this scene with me, because the source text paints it so vividly. And honestly, we've all been here. It's 2 a.m., you've got 3 empty energy drinks stacked up on your desk, your eyes are burning, and you've highlighted so much of your textbook that the pages are practically glowing in the dark. You feel like an absolute warrior, right? But then, the morning comes, you look at that exam paper, and your stomach just completely drops. You realize your brain is acting like a total stranger. Every single thing you crammed in, it's just gone. Poof.
And that brings us to a brutally honest question presented in our source material. Are you working this hard just to fail? It is a terrifying thought, because the hard truth outlined here isn't just that you're passively forgetting things over time. Oh no, it's much worse. You might actually be training your brain to ignore everything you read. By using the wrong methods, you're actively working against your own cognitive hardware. No wonder it's exhausting.
Moving on to Section 2, test your study habits. It's time for a bit of a reality check.
If you're that exhausted person I just described, trying so incredibly hard but feeling like you're literally just running on a treadmill going nowhere, let's see exactly where things are going off the rails. I'm going to rapidly fire off 5 diagnostic questions straight from the text. Ready? 1. Are you actually studying to learn, or are you just putting in the hours to avoid feeling guilty? 2. If I took away your highlighters right now, could you explain the text for 20 minutes? 3. Why are you so terrified to take a practice test without your notes? 4. Do you truly believe you have a bad memory, or are you just using failing methods? And finally, 5. Could you teach this topic to someone else in 10 minutes? Now, if those questions gave you that awful stomach drop realization, take a breath. It's okay. The problem isn't you. It's not your intelligence. The simple fact is, you were just never taught how your brain actually works.
Which brings us to Section 3, the illusion of familiarity. Because recognition definitely isn't recall.
And this is exactly where we pivot from that frustration to a truly empowering strategic solution. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the book right at the center of our framework here, How to Study Like a Genius by Shadow Books. As our source points out, this isn't just, some motivational fluff to make you feel good. It is a literal framework for execution. It diagnoses exactly why we struggle and hands us the actual blueprint to fix it.
For instance, let's address that first diagnostic question about staying busy. The book makes an absolutely critical distinction between time spent and learning done. We constantly confuse the two, don't we? You can sit with the book open for 8 hours straight, but if your brain is in a passive state, you're going to retain zero information. Zero. Learning isn't measured by how many hours you sat in a chair. It is measured strictly by what you can actually recall.
And here is exactly where the highlighters completely betray you. The text clearly shows that rereading and highlighting create a very dangerous trap. It calls it familiarity. Because your brain recognizes the visual words on the page, it tricks you into feeling like you actually know the material. But let me be clear, familiarity is not true memory. The very second the pressure of the exam is on, that superficial familiarity, it completely vanishes.
Let's look at Section 4, Why Struggle Builds Memory. We need to start embracing the gaps.
So, how do we actually build true memory instead of just faking it with familiarity? Well, this directly addresses why so many of us hide out in those safe zones of rereading. As the text captures perfectly, quote, "The struggle you feel during recall is actually what strengthens the neural connections." You see, testing reveals the gaps in our knowledge, and naturally our brains interpret those gaps as failures. It feels bad, but that uncomfortable feeling of trying to pull out information, that exact struggle, is exactly what wires the knowledge firmly into your head. So the crucial point is, if studying feels easy, you probably aren't actually learning.
And honestly, this completely dismantles a super common excuse, the whole bad memory myth. The text points out that so-called genius-level learners, they are not magically born with better brains. No way. They simply use better, scientifically backed systems. When it comes to effective studying, structured skill beats raw talent every single time. Every time. All right, Section 5, the ultimate test, teaching.
Can you explain it simply?
If you want to know for absolute certain that you've learned something, you have to apply this final metric: teaching. According to the book, teaching is literally the ultimate test of clarity. Mastery is defined as the ability to explain a concept simply and clearly to someone else in under 10 minutes. If you can't do that, well, you're still hiding behind jargon and that dangerous illusion of familiarity.
Wrapping up with Section 6, strategy over emotion. We have to stop fighting our own brains.
As we pull all these threads together, we reach the core psychological shift you need to finally stop burning out. And this brilliantly illustrates the stark contrast between emotional studying and strategic studying. Most people, they study emotionally. We feel anxious, so we resort to highlighting because it feels safe, right? Even though we know it's completely useless. Strategic studying, on the other hand, means you stop fighting your brain and you start working alongside its natural limits. You embrace the struggle of recall instead of leaning on the comfortable false safety of recognition.
I want to leave you with one final truly provocative question directly from our source, just to really challenge your current habits. Think about this. If you keep studying the exact same way you did today, where will you be in 5 years? Will you still be exhausted, running on that same endless academic treadmill? Or will you commit to a system that actually respects how your memory is built? The choice to change your map is entirely yours. Keep learning, keep pushing, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.